On this episode of Gun Talk Hunt with Todd Bonura of Maniacal Arms, we're talking gators, gear fails, and maniacal mayhem in the Deep South.
Hey, I'm KJ, dedicated lifelong hunter here. If you got an interest in all things hunting, you're in the right spot. Whether chasing quail across the plains of Oklahoma or in pursuit of elk in the backcountry of British Columbia, you'll always find me on the hunt.
Welcome in, Gun Talk Hunters. I'm your host, KJ, and this is the final episode in a 4-week series with Todd Bonura of Maniacal Arms. Now, every week, his description of himself got less and less of who he is. And so, you know what? Instead of him saying it and me saying it, let's see what ChatGPT has to say about it.
Yeah,
and AI, I AI'd it. I don't know what the
Let Skynet
kids are.
figure it all out.
Yeah, let them figure out who Todd Bonura of Maniacal Arms is. And so this show, here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to get to who Todd Bonura is, but we're also going to go, your field tip for this episode is waterproofing for Bayou Hunts, what actually works, what doesn't. Our main topic is swamp hunting isn't for the faint. It's for the flexible. And I'm not sure if they're talking about your plans are flexible or you have to be flexible, but
It's
we'll
definitely
see.
your plans, because I'm not
I hope
flexible
so
at all.
Yeah, I'm not either. And then our listener question last week was, what's your dream nighttime predator combo? And then this week, if you want to answer it, KJ at guntalk.com. What's the weirdest thing you've ever seen in the woods or swamp? And I know Todd's got a good one. I know he does.
I got a couple of them that,
Oh gosh.
that at the time I was kind of like, holy crap, is this really happening?
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, we're going to hear it at the end of this episode. Hey, but first, let's talk about who we're brought to you by, because that's kind of important. Timney Triggers, Ruger, and First Person Defender. Go give them all a look. All right. ChatGPT, what do you got for us? All right. He is owner and master gunsmith at Maniacal Arms, a full-service FFL Class 3 dealer, and the only factory-certified Cerakote applicator on Louisiana's North Shore. That's a true statement.
It is very true.
It is very true.
Yeah.
He accepts guns from all over the world, really, to be customized and accurized. Experience in both competition and field firearm design, delivering battle-tested builds that perform under pressure, from showpieces to swamp-ready war horses. All right, media and industry presence. This is funny. Featured guest on Gun Talk Hunt with Kevin KJ Jarnagin, discussing his epic gun builds, including collaborations with Aero Precisions, Loophole, Timney, Wooks, and more. Podcast guest on Gun Talk Hunt, covering topics like rising interest in the 22 Creedmoor, one of his favorites now that I can't get by.
Yeah.
But what sets Maniacal apart? A certified Cerakote applicator, and he does all custom work. He works with the individual on what they like, what they might need, what they want. Offers custom precision rifle builds tailored for hunting, whether swamp hogs or high country elk, built and tested in the field. Now, why Todd matters to hunters. This is the part where I thought was really interesting, that ChatGPT kind of is saying why you matter to hunters.
Why I matter. Okay.
Why you matter to hunters.
What's it got to say?
All right. Todd bridges the gap between precision rifle craftsmanship and real-world hunting utility, proving that custom rifles can be both accurate and fight-ready or hunt-ready.
Yes.
Regularly shares field-tested knowledge on build durability, thermal optics pairing, weight versus function trade-offs, and protective coatings. His builds have been battlefield-proven, hunt-proven, whether for hog predator or big game hunts, making him a trusted voice for hunters seeking performance edge.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty accurate.
We couldn't have said it better ourselves.
I wouldn't have said it better myself.
I definitely wouldn't have. But like, I hate that AI is like what
crazy.
it's capable of.
It's crazy. Yeah. That's a whole episode of its own.
Oh yeah. I mean, you can come up with like, and I've done this testing, and I'm like, okay, what do I need for a backcountry hunt? And I'm hunting this for
Right.
this at this time of the year. It will lay out a whole hunt plan for you. And then, and this is scary, but it shaves a lot of time. If you think, so AI can be used as a tool to, and this is a rabbit hole. I wasn't going to discuss this, but we had it up, and I think it's worth like giving you guys a little bit of a tip of like meal planning for backcountry hunts. Because when
It's a big deal.
It is. I mean,
a big
because
deal.
that's your nutrition.
Yeah.
So what I did was I went in, and you can come up with, it'll create you a custom workout plan, a custom meal plan to prepare for hunts. I typed in like, hey, these are my weights, these are my dimensions, this is where I'm at in my life, this is what I
Calories
do for
I
exercise.
feel like I need. and all
Yes.
that. Yeah.
It will give you every single thing that you need and how much you need of it on a backcountry hunt. It is a great tool as a guide, and you can meal prep for it. Like all your meal plans for your backcountry hunts, you can say, I have this in my cabinet. What can I do with it? And it'll
Right.
come with everything. It's a great starting point. Like if you don't know
crazy.
where to start, like
it gets it on that track.
it gets your mind start going,
Right,
oh,
start
okay, I
thinking,
didn't
okay,
think about
yeah.
that. Like that's where I think that is good for hunters.
Yeah, I mean that's protein and caloric intake is a big
Yeah.
deal in that
Oh, yeah.
situation. I mean that's
Well,
it's your fuel.
it's your fuel. It's like
Can't
you've
hunt
got.
if you don't have any fuel.
That's
Yeah.
exactly right. And then if you're sitting there and you're having interest in hunting, you can ask it like, hey, I want to go hunt Wyoming, Colorado, or Wyoming elk in, whenever the dates are. What units should I draw for? What are the best odds and what are the worst odds? It will pump out all that information for you.
That's just crazy.
It's scary. All right.
It's super scary.
All right. Off that side trail, and now we're back on track. All right. Waterproofing for bayou hunts or wet hunts or whatever it might be. What actually works for you?
I mean, I've always been, if I think there's rain, I'll tape a muzzle up.
What kind of tape are you using?
Electrical.
Electrical.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, always electrical.
Why?
It's easy to get off. Doesn't leave a lot of residue.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like even with a Cerakoted barrel, like it's not, or
Yeah.
any barrel.
Yeah. And then if whatever rifle I'm hunting with is hand loaded, then I seal all my primer pockets,
Oh, okay.
seal the primers, because factory rounds are done that too.
Right.
But when you hand load them, if you don't think about that sometimes, and you go to an environment that's wet, you should think about it.
Oh my gosh.
They make sealers for that,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll do that. And
I have
then-
a question. Let's go back to taping. Does that decrease your accuracy,
Nope.
velocity?
I've never seen anything from it other than stop water from going in your barrel. I've put it around brakes,
Yeah.
around a muzzle brake,
Oh,
or
really?
around a bare barrel. Yeah.
So you'll tape your whole muzzle brake
Mm-hmm.
and then tape one over.
Yeah, believe me, the pressure is got the tape
Oh, yeah.
removed way before the
It's
bullet gets
gone.
there. Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny. Like, because you always hear guys like, "Oh, I don't know if I want to shoot through it. I'm gonna have to take it." Like, and I've always been of the opposite. I'm like,
I've shot
shoot
through it twice. Yeah.
Yeah, and no lack of performance.
Nope.
Really. See, these are little things you'd find out on Gun Talk Hunt. All right, so tape, and then
Optic covers
your
too.
Optic covers. That's a good one.
Yeah.
You know whose I really like, and I didn't think I was gonna like them. Like, typically, I do not run any scope covers.
Right.
Never. And I don't know why. Like, because I always look and I'm like, oh, that optic's pretty dusty. Like,
Yeah.
Every time. But Loophole has their Illuma covers.
Yeah.
Those are nice
They are.
because they can flip all the way up. They're aluminum, so they're not
Have
you know,
those
that plastic.
rare earth magnets or whatever they
Yeah.
call them in them that are real closed up,
Or
really
they
tight.
close.
Yeah.
Not opening.
Yeah.
Nothing's getting in there.
Yep.
So I like those. I do like those. But any kind of cover, I guess, in rain will get
Yeah.
you well ahead of the game.
Yeah. Because even in snow,
Yeah.
you don't think about it, but like it snows actually worse for your optic as far as messing up your vision because it'll get packed
Right.
in there, and then
Oh,
you'll
yeah.
go to draw up and there's
Nothing.
snow halfway covering one lens. I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not ideal if you've ever
No.
shot before. Like
Yeah.
having half of your optic covered
Right. Yeah.
usually
So
doesn't work.
I always,
That
I'll keep like a rear one because I carry a gun in a
Right.
scabbard out west. So I keep the rear one in my bag.
Okay.
And then if it's getting inclement weather, I'll put it on the back because it's only one exposed.
Right.
The front one's in the scabbard anyway.
well. Okay. Well, but matches, for match, like especially if there's going to be wind involved, which typically there is, and dusty climates, I will cover my optic then. Like that's when I really do believe, and I know what you're probably sitting there yelling at me right now going, well, how's that any different from when you hunt? I don't know. Don't ask me, but I usually don't do scope covers.
Yeah. I mean, I don't ever use sunshades either on hunting rifles,
But
on a match gun I do.
dude, that bit me in the butt last year on a youth hunt. Like, during
There's
youth
a purpose
season,
for them for sure.
dude, during youth season, I had one on there because I was like, okay, it's like late. Anyway, had it on there, did not take it off, and the sun's going down, and that's when all the deer come out. Like
Absolutely,
all the
yeah.
bucks
Right.
come out when it's that last 3 minutes of light, and I can see the deer with my naked eye, and I'm telling my kid hey, shoot that deer. Like you need to shoot, and he goes, I kind of can barely see it, and I'm like, how do you not see that thing? Well, the optic, in order to capture light, needs to be open.
Right.
Nothing needs to be blocking it. And that sunshade was impeding light from coming into that optic.
Right.
And I was like, do you see it? And he was like, yeah, I think I can kind of see it. And he shot right under the deer. And this was a big deer. Like, this is a big deer. And at that point, the hunt, just took a nosedive.
Yeah, I remember you talking to you after that. You were pretty bummed out.
Dude, he started throwing up that night all over the truck. Like, it just sucked.
Spiraled.
I was like, I'm done. Like, I can't do it anymore. But
it has bit me before where I was in
Yeah.
the scope and the sun was glaring on it and I was trying to get a shot.
yeah.
And then I take my hat off
Yep.
and
Lay it up
hold
there.
it over the end of the scope with one hand like that to try to block it out.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
works. You know?
It does work.
Yeah.
And you got to get innovative with little stuff like that. But man, that sunshade, I will never forget that because his shot was perfect where he thought the deer was.
Right.
But he could barely make it out. I mean, it just didn't work. And that was literally the last 30 seconds of light.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, if you're going to shoot, you better make it within pow.
That's the prime time, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. But what are you doing for your stock? Anything? You don't need to do anything.
I mean, I'm always running carbon stocks or
Yeah.
fiberglass or something, so it's not really a concern.
Yeah.
Um,
You ever use a rifle cover?
yeah,
You do?
yep. I had one back before I started using the scabbard
Yeah.
to kind of try it because it'd cover the muzzle and keep the scope
Yeah.
clean and all that throughout the day. You could wear it. I think, trying to remember what the guy's name is that I bought one from. He's he solo hunts with Remy Warren and them dudes.
Yeah.
He made one that was really nice and I
Really?
bought years ago and I used it on a couple hunts because you could have your sling on your shoulder and
okay.
it would still cover your
Yeah.
rifle.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I have one from Kuyu that rarely have to use it. But those are the instances where I'm like, I'm sitting there for a while and either the wind's really blowing hard or it's starting to rain and I'll just slip that cover over it because it pops off really
Yep.
quick.
Right.
But yeah. All right. We're going to jump in here with a break. And when we come back, we're talking swamp hunting isn't for the faint of heart. It's for the flexible, which that's a whole nother topic. So we'll be right back after this. First Person Defender YouTube page is out. You got to go like, comment, and subscribe. And I promise you're going to like what you see over there because you are going to get a view. Each week, we're going to be launching new episodes. Season 14 is coming out soon. So get over there and check it out. You got to like, comment, and subscribe. We want to push this thing out because we want more people becoming more aware of their personal safety. If you like tips, tactics, watching people and seeing how they react. And you being the Monday morning quarterback that you are, I know you're going to love it because you're going to say, whoa, I wouldn't have done that. I would have done it totally different. Well, would you have? Because I'm going to be honest with you right now. There are a lot of people out there that says, I'm going to just turn it on. I'm going to know when my attack comes. Well, if you know when your attack is coming, I sure as heck wouldn't be there. But watching first-person defender gives you the opportunity to say, yep, I wouldn't be in that situation because I'm going to see it way before that. And you're training your mind, all right? So go like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube page over there. The first-person defender is going to be hot. Feel like your trigger's holding you back more than your ex? Fix that with the Timney Alpha competition trigger for the Ruger RXM. It's got a crisp 3-pound pull, no adjustments, no drama, just pure, smooth performance. It installs easier than IKEA furniture and comes fully hand-assembled, tested, and calibrated by real humans, not robots or over-caffeinated raccoons. Made in the USA and backed by a legendary lifetime warranty, yes, it will make you more accurate. The rest is on you. Tired of your range time being just mag dumps and Instagram flexing? Enter Range Ready Training, where Director of Awesomeness and everything else, Chris Sereno, turns keyboard warriors into actual warriors. Or something like that. Pretty dang close, I would say. Yeah, the guy's been there, done that. Pistol, check. Rifle, check. Yeah, we got it all. Force on force, we do that every now and then too. Bring your bruises, instructor development. Welcome to the Thunderdome of learning. It's more than training, it's range ready because real life doesn't come with a respawn button. Looking for a rifle that's short, sharp, and way more precise than you on your best day? Meet the Ruger American Gen 2 Scout, the Gun Talk Edition. This thing's compact powerhouse dressed in Cryptek Obscura Nox camo with a smoked bronze Cerakote finish like Tactical Fashion Week, but with more recoil. Chambered in 5.56 NATO or 308, it's got a threaded barrel, installed high comb, and the kind of accuracy that forgives your bad decisions. At least the ballistic ones. You can find it at guntalkscout.com. Hey, get your heads up. Heads up, right up here. Tactical treasure hunters, beware. Optics Planet just became your new favorite adult toy store for gear. Let's get that out of the way. Want scopes, red dots, night vision, and stuff totally you probably don't need but will absolutely buy anyway? Yeah, I thought so. Use promo code GUNTALK at checkout and get 5% off your order. That's right, 5%. Not 2, not 3, 5. Like the fingers you'll use to type that code in while pretending this wasn't my idea. So go to Optics Planet, check it out, enter code GUNTALK, and get your 5% off. All right, we're back with Todd Bonura of Maniacal Arms, and we're talking Bayou Hunts. Swamp hunting. And I still haven't adapted to this.
Yeah.
Like, how they hunt down here is way different than anywhere in the country.
Man, when I was younger, I did a lot more like in the swamp.
Yeah.
More than what I do now. But, I mean, because we had hog dogs and coon hounds and all that
is
stuff.
Is that how you have to do it down here?
We rifle hunted it too, but, you know, it's always like where we were hunting in a swamp was public land. So
right.
You got to get in deep early before other people do. And then we just stay all day, you know, because people going in and out move game around.
Yeah.
But then too, like in a swamp, you have a lot of other things, you know, the water levels can dictate where you're able to go or where the game is even.
Right.
You know, that's why like the swamp south and above Honey Island, like the Bogachita management and stuff, that all closes when the water gets a certain height. The river gauge gets to a certain thing, they shut it down. It's not, you're not allowed to go in there because it's unfair advantage to the, you know, to the.
Because you're just hunting the
Well, there's just knobs. You go find a high knob, everything's on it, you know?
Everything.
Yeah.
That's why they shut it down?
Yeah. Right.
I would want that advantage.
Well,
Give me that advantage.
You know, and in those times, these little bayous that run out into the main rivers, now you can access them with a boat too. So you can go in deeper, and then it stops people from hunting out of a boat.
Gotcha.
Too.
Okay.
Yeah.
It just seems.
But it always moves things around too. Like water up and down in Louisiana always kind of tends to kind of move game around. You know, one day you're here and
it's not as consistent. I'll tell you that much.
No, it's tough. You know, it's like turkey hunting here.
Yeah.
All the guys we were growing up here is like, if you can kill a turkey in Louisiana, you can kill one anywhere.
Yeah.
Because you can't see very far here.
I've seen
especially
one
on the ground.
Well, that's like, no matter what it is, whether it's deer hunting, hog hunting, or turkey hunting, like if you took any one of those critters and turned them loose in Oklahoma or somewhere that's flat and open, they would lose their mind.
Yeah.
Trying to find a tree.
Right.
I mean, it is thick as you can get down here, and that's one of the big things that I'm like, how do you go about like scouting it? And you know, these guys that like to prepare like me, like what is the best option for them to get onto public land?
Man, you know, and two, it's so thick, right? Like I remember one time I was hunting in the Midwest, had a good buddy up there.
Yeah.
And he comes down to Louisiana for the first time ever. He's born and raised in Illinois, Southern Illinois. And we're riding around doing some stuff during the day. And he asked me, he says, man, the county doesn't get mad at these people for not cleaning their property up? And I said, what do you mean cleaning their property up? He's like, well, you can't even see in that off the road. And I'm like, because that's how our woods are. You can't see in them. And he's like, there's no way. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's exactly the way.
Just take a look around.
You know, after Katrina, and 05 came through, it knocked a lot of the big trees down, so the swamp got even thicker.
Oh God!
Before that, we hog hunted, we coon hunted out there and everything.
Right.
I had a place not far from y'all's facility here that was like 16,000 acres. I was a member of that I coon hunted. After Katrina, I kind of got rid of my dogs because the woods were so thick. You had to carry a cane knife to cut your way in to get dogs, and it just became more of a work than it was a pleasure because of how thick the undercover got. But with the same respect, like on that public ground in the swamp, then there was 3 years or so that people couldn't get in there to hunt. So when they did get in there 3 years later, they killing some pretty nice deer.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, it's always everybody wants to kill big deer, but you shoot all the 2-year-olds, they never get big, right?
They never get big.
Yeah, but if you leave them alone for 3 years, you'd be surprised what you can grow in Louisiana.
Well, I'm shocked how big some of the deer get down here. And I think a lot of it has to do with the cover.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, because you could have a world-class trophy whitetail 60 yards away, and you'd never know it.
Yeah.
Never know it.
And then we have a big deal where a lot of deer are nocturnal, too, because of pressure.
Yeah.
You know, so that makes it harder to find them, too.
Is that where you start shooting them at night and then just turn them into
I've heard stories of that. I've heard stories of that, believe it or not, where guys took a piece of property and turned it around by pressuring them at night, even if they weren't killing them.
Yeah,
they're just pressuring. Yeah, just pressuring them at night just makes them not want to be there then. I mean,
would that work if you had a nocturnal? Because what's funny is you talk about nocturnal whitetails and see this is the kind of one of the rabbit holes we go down, but every like big deer pick that I get, it's always at nighttime, and I'm like, okay, you've got that pick now, and you think you're gonna kill him, but you're only getting him at nighttime. So what does that tell you?
Right. And that was like the buck I killed this past year.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I get a picture of him in the daylight, and I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like he's up during the day on a totally different end of the property, and then there became a pattern of it at the same time every so many days of that. And then it's like, okay, now I just need to wait for the wind because he's old and a very mature deer for our area. But if it wouldn't have been for that, I mean.
Yeah. But I mean, I just think that would disrupting or being just in the woods around that area and pressuring that area, hunters will think that you're going to move him out of the area, but realistically, you're just changing his movements.
Yes, right.
That's he's going to come through that deer because that's probably his core area. That's where he wants to be.
Yep.
He just has to. He has to switch between a disco buck into a daylight buck.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's hard.
It is hard, and especially down in the swamp, and especially if you're, because it's the terrain down here seems to change.
Even during the rut here, it's so thick.
Yeah.
I've heard deer chasing that you can never see. You know that's what's going on, but you can't see them to.
Yeah. And typically, the rut down here is like right around Christmas time. So
Christmas week of Christmas, New Year's.
yeah, that's when it is. That's when it's the height. And I've had the experience the same thing. I'm like, I know what they're doing, but they're just not doing it right by me. And they could be, like I said, like 60 yards away. Yeah. And you know that there's deer right there, and you just can't see them.
Yeah.
That's what's
frustrating.
It's so frustrating. And that's one of the hardest things about maneuvering on properties that you're unfamiliar with, or that the landscape is consistently changing because the water levels go up, and then they'll.
And two, I mean, it's also, I like that spot I was hunting this past year is like, I didn't go in there to shoot any does. I didn't do anything in there until that buck was there.
Yeah.
Then it was time to make a move. It wasn't, because you just move them around, and a lot of guys they just hunt because they want to be hunting, and
right.
That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but
might not be right.
Might not be the best method to killing a big buck.
And typically the first time you set a set is the best time you're going to hit it.
Yep.
Ever. Like
that was when I killed him this year. His first day I sat in there.
First day you sat in there.
Yep.
Because he's been in there. You're going into his bedroom. I mean, just think, if someone entered your house, you would know it.
Absolutely.
You'd go, hold on a second, something's not right here.
Yeah.
Like they're doing the same thing. It's just, it's just a different critter.
Yep.
But yeah, that's one of those things, like hunting swamp, like the fails, like it's tough to swallow. And I think flexible, when we talk about like, it's for the flexible, I think it's talking about your plans and like how you adjust your hunting strategies.
Yes, absolutely.
And
no doubt.
It's just what it is.
Yep.
All right. Now, let's get on to listener questions. KJ@guntalk.com. If you want to hear your stuff read on the airwaves and on all the socials and all that good stuff, wherever this podcast is hosted, just type in KJ@guntalk.com. Last week, it was, what is your dream nighttime predator combo? This week, what's the weirdest thing you've seen in the woods or swamp?
Well,
there was a little bit of a pause there that makes me nervous.
Well, there's two things that stand out to me. One of them's going to be here in the swamp, and then one's going to be in Illinois. And so in the swamp one year, I was, we're not known for black bear here, obviously.
Right.
Even though now they're becoming more prevalent, but we're going back 25 years ago, okay? And I'm on a turkey hunt in the swamp, and I'm walking in, and I hear something in a thicket, so I'm like, and it's upwind from me, so I'm like, oh, it must be some hogs or something, but usually you can smell them,
right?
The hogs, and when you're coming up on them, and I didn't smell any hogs. I'm like, well, then I catch a little glimpse in the thicket of this something black, so I'm like, oh, well, that's big hog, big boar hog. So I just go about my business, sit down, turkey hunt, unsuccessful turkey hunt, get up, make a move, and I'm going to meet a buddy of mine. We got this spot where we're going to meet up for, go back to the boat. And we come across this spot. It is a knob in the swamp, and there's this big hole dug out of it, and there's honeycomb all over the ground there. And we found one bear track, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, crap, that was the bear that I seen in that thicket. That's why I didn't smell him like a hog.
Yeah.
And one bear track, but it sat on all the grass was matted down, and it was like digging honeycomb out of this hole in the dirt and eating this honeycomb. And Buddy was like, that's
incredible.
Crazy. That was the first time that I ever seen a black bear in Louisiana in my life.
I've still never seen them. I've seen guys using thermal.
Yeah.
And seeing them walk across fields and stuff like that, but I've never set eyes on them.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And then another time in Illinois, we were going to drag a doe out that a buddy of mine shot it in the evening night hunt. And we're in a side-by-side and come wheeling around the curve in this rock road and rolled right up on a couple.
Oh,
intimate.
no.
Yeah, it was pretty embarrassing for them.
But you're like, what? Come on. Dude, that's funny.
It was pretty funny, especially when you lock them up, sliding the gravel, and they both look at you like deer in the headlights. But
it was primetime rut.
It was.
I mean, I get for someone it was. For someone it was. Dude, that's funny. I don't even know how to follow up that. Like, so this one place we alligator hunt, and people who are from this area, they may know what I'm talking about. But it was the first time I went out there, and I wasn't ready for it. It was like this little small community, and it was almost like camps. Mm-hmm. Like, you're driving out and getting to the, public boat ramp, and you drive through this little area, and there's all these mannequins in this one yard, and they're usually all headless, and there's like doll heads hanging all over. Like it's something straight out of like True Detective. Like,
yeah, right.
And you look at and they're all dressed up. Some of them are half naked, but they're all through this little community. But at the end of it, it's like a Mannequin City, and that's for bizarre. Me was completely bizarre, because the first time I saw it was like 3:00 in the morning when I'm headed out, and I look and I'm
like, oh crap, where are they bringing me?
I'm in the wrong place, guys. Are you seeing this?
Banjos in the background.
Yeah, I'm looking around like, hold on a second. If whatever's in that house does not need to be on the outside of that house right now.
Yeah.
And it was, I mean, I'm sure the people who live there were quite nice. They just have an affinity for
just really creepy, nice people.
Creepy yard attire. It's horrible. Oh, I still can see. I close my eyes, I can see it, and I still go back there. I still go back and alligator hunt. That's where we killed the big, I think ended up being like 11 and a half feet or something like that.
That's a big gator.
That's a big gator, and that's where we killed him.
They don't ever think about it like they always talk about it on the Swamp People show. It's 1,000 pounds. Yeah. It's 13 feet. I'm like, it's TV, man.
It's TV.
It's TV.
Oh my gosh.
How many people do you know that one man can pull 1,000 pounds over the side of a boat? It's not
impossible.
Yeah.
Because I had to load that gator up because he died on shore. So we lined him. He died on shore, and of course we put another one in him just to make sure. But to wrestle that thing, to get him into the water, to get his head overboard, and then start rolling him into the boat, took 4 grown men.
Yeah, right.
Like, there's no way. Like, they have to have a support crew or something rolling behind them, because 13 foot.
Yeah,
I couldn't
there's no
imagine
way.
that.
Yeah, and they
there's
don't.
No way.
Yeah, and on them lines, they don't thrash and all that stuff. You can slip them right up to the top and just.
And see, and that's that. Oh my gosh,
but
we're going down.
But it's not TV, so it's like
no, it's not.
It's got to be exciting.
It's got to be entertaining.
Right,
And we actually have a camera guy. I've known a couple camera guys that work on that show, and they say it's a lot of it's kind of somewhat set up, and all the thrashing, because you can sit there and start bringing them up, and they'll just pop to the surface, and you go pop, and then you're done.
Yeah,
and
right.
but
that wouldn't be exciting.
No,
it'd be kind of boring after.
Well, people probably think it's cruel. They're like, at least if they're thrashing around,
they have a fighting chance, right?
Fighting chance.
Except with the hook down their neck.
Yeah, I know. They are not going to last very long. No. I'll tell you that much.
That's for sure.
All right, last segment. Here we go. Todd's final take, man. What are you thinking about? What?
Lunch. No,
I'm thinking about lunch, too. I'm not going to lie to you. It sounds delicious. I don't know what we're having.
What are you
thinking about?
Man, I think that everybody, whether they have custom rifles or not, can always shoot more.
Yes.
I feel like that's a big key too. Like, let's shoot more, not when we're hunting. Instead of just shooting 3 shots to check 0 and move on to our hunting season. And then when we have fails or misses that we don't understand, a lot of times I feel like it backs up to that. So let's shoot a little bit more, right? Everyone. I need to shoot more.
Yep.
You need to shoot more. We all need to shoot more. So whether you have custom rifles or not, shoot more and learn your weapon. Let's be efficient with what we do have, so that when the time does come, we're not talking about the fails and the misses. We're talking about the great experiences, which all of them are great, whether they're bad or not. You know?
You're right, man. I love it. Go shoot more.
Yeah.
Todd Bonura, Maniacal Arms. Where do you learn more about Maniacal Arms?
Maniacalarms.com, Maniacal_arms on IG.
Yeah.
And then Facebook is connected to it too.
All right.
Don't hate me because I don't post every day.
He doesn't. He doesn't post every day. He should, because the stuff that comes in and out of his shop, he's got a lot of it on the site, which on the Instagram, I love following his Instagram because when he does post, it's usually, man, it's awesome. It's
usually, we really want to make sure everybody's completely satisfied with what their build is.
And what's great, one thing, and I'm going to give a kind of a plug for you. One really cool thing that I think you do is you will not let the customer see their gun until it is completely finished.
We don't post it either.
They don't post it.
So the customers had it or got to see it. We will not. And that kind of gets us behind sometimes because we finish stuff. It's like, oh, we should post that, but then we don't because the customer hasn't seen it yet. So then, and I've had them come in and like, oh, I've been watching Instagram to see if and I'm like, well, I don't do that until you need to be the first person to see it. And because I get a lot of satisfaction from that, from the person's excitement about it, whether it's just Cerakote work or a custom build. That means a lot to me.
Dude, I love it because I love that premise of it, getting that first reaction from them, not them staring at a screen going, oh, that must be my gun.
Yeah.
It's the
satisfaction of knowing that they're like stoked by it. You know?
Yep. I love it. All right, maniacalarms.com. That is it for our 4-week session with Todd. We're going to get him back in because he's a wealth of information. And he's one heck of a Cajun, I'll tell you that much.
Thanks for having me, man.
No problem, man. All right, love to hear it. All right, all you gun talk hunters, you know the drill. Keep those muzzles pointed in a safe direction and always be on the hunt.